Good afternoon and welcome to the Tijuana Estuary. My name is Maria and this is Anne Marie.
Hi everybody. How many people have been here before? Not too many. Raise your hand if you can tell me what an estuary is. Okay.
Alright, well, estuaries are a type of coastal wetland where fresh water from a river, like the Tijuana River, mixes with salt water from the ocean, like the Pacific Ocean. This salt water is the main source of the salt marsh here, and the beach is just a couple of blocks away.
Did you know that we protect 235 acres of coastal salt marsh here? And that's about 178 football fields, so if you put them side by side by side by side by side, that's pretty big, right? And so this wetland is co-managed by California State Parks and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and also our nonprofit partner, which is called the Southwest Wetlands Interpretive Association, or SWIA.
And SWIA actually employs much of the researchers and ecologists here and are leading a very ambitious restoration program called the Tijuana River Tidal Restoration Program, or TETRA for short. They're trying to restore 250 acres of salt marsh at Borderfield State Park in the south end of the reserve. And you can get involved easily by volunteering your time or your financial support. And that way, if we all work together, the salt marsh will still be here for our children and our grandchildren to enjoy and to visit.
So in the last century or so, at least since the Industrial Revolution, what has happened is our human activities like burning coal in a power plant or driving a car or things involved with agriculture have caused carbon dioxide or CO2 to be emitted into the atmosphere, and that creates what's called a heat trapping blanket around the earth. And what happens is the sun's warmth comes into this atmosphere and is trapped when it's trying to come out. That causes an average global temperatures to rise, it causes the ocean to rise, and that effect is called climate change.
And this mixing of water that we talked about before results in a very productive habitat, which means the plants grow a lot each year, especially in the summer. And when they grow, they take in carbon dioxide, or CO2, from the atmosphere to grow these plant parts. This grabbing of the CO2 in the atmosphere is called sequestering.
So another great thing about salt marshes is their soils are highly anaerobic. Anaerobic means without oxygen. And so you might have heard of those bogs up in Scandinavia that have all these Viking mummies. Well, it's the same kind of thing. When the plants drop and they try to decompose in this anaerobic atmosphere situation, then they don't break down. And so the carbon is grabbed by the soil, and that makes salt marshes be wonderful carbon sinks.
And like we mentioned before, salt marshes are really great at sequestering that carbon, which can lessen the heat-trapping blanket effect that Anne-Marie was talking about. In fact, salt marshes can absorb 210 grams of carbon per hectare per year. That's almost twice as much as than a mangrove, which is another type of coastal wetland. Unfortunately, 90% of coastal wetlands in California have been developed, so it's really important that we protect and restore the ones that we have left.
So the 250 acres of tetra that we're trying to restore down at Borderfield State Park, that can sequester over 21,000 grams of carbon per year. That's 47 pounds per year. If you add to that the intact salt marsh, that's another 44 pounds per year, for a total of 91 pounds of CO2 being sequestered every single year here at the Tijuana Estuary.
And it's not just the scientists who can help this situation. You too can help by going to SWIA's website, www.swiaforearth.org, which we'll give you later, to find out how you can give financially or of your time and talents to this crucial restoration effort that will help reduce the impacts of climate change. So we can all be part of this huge statewide effort to restore and increase these amazing carbon sinks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.